and give to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. If you can give a monthly donation, that's even better, but give generously. It's going to take all of us to turn this ship around, man. It has not been a good first 500 years or so. And so we all need to be part of making the change that we need to see in the world. And that means we need you to also invite your friends and family. So if you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on YouTube, share that link, just tweet it out, put it on Instagram, whatever it is you need to do to invite your peeps. We have some amazing conversations and performers coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. And your friends are going to be pissed if you didn't tell them about this cool thing that was happening. All right. So we are ready now for our next guest. We're going to be hearing next from Alyasah Ali Sewell, who, I hope I said your name right. Dr. Sewell is an associate professor of sociology at Emory University and founder and director of the Race and Policing Project, advancing quantitative approaches to racism studies. They assess empirical links between the political economy of race and racial health and healthcare disparities using policing and housing policy data. Did I butcher your name? I'm very sorry.
No, you didn't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. And you're doing such important work. We need that information. We need that concrete data so that people don't just be like, everyone just needs to feel happier in their hearts, right? Like we need to be able to describe the problem and describe what the solutions can be. That's your work, yeah?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, we can go in a couple different directions. I do study the illness risk of police violence, friskings, use of force, and more recently, actually, police killings, and particularly legal intervention deaths, which essentially is a time when a police kills in the line of legal action and a medical examiner says, yes, that was a police fault. So not kind of what they're saying with the Eric Garner and the George Floyd, it was heart disease or his asthma. No, a medical examiner says, this is it. So this is essentially the formal acknowledgement of state-sanctioned murder, of state-sanctioned violence. I can come back to the work, but I actually want to I want to read a poem. Before I became an academic, I was a poet. And when you need to detox, when I need to detox, I write. So this is something I wrote, it was a little bit into it, and it was just very difficult to keep seeing videos and hearing things online and the radios and the TVs and doing the work, doing the regression analysis, the statistical analysis. I needed a way to kind of release some of that negative energy. So I wrote a poem. It's called hashtag, not another hashtag. And if we can go back 5 years, when there was a police killing, we would put hashtag Sandra Bland, hashtag Erica Garner, not Erica, but hashtag Eric Garner. We would do hashtags, and we kind of don't even do that anymore. It was like hashtag RIP, rest in peace, rest in power, rest in paradise, Sam Dubose. And I'll start there today. Not another hashtag. These tears won't stop flowing, RIP, Sam Dubose. Because everyone is sleeping, because I just watched the video, because I've driven through Cincinnati without a front license plate. And I now know I could not have made it home. Because I know what it's like to make a mistake and pay for it. See, in Florida, the cops pulled me over a night I had left my driver's license at home. I flashed my university ID, and they gave me a $75 ticket instead of shooting me in the head. Hashtag RIP Mike Brown. These tears won't stop flowing because I've laid beside death, so I can vividly imagine what it's like for a dead body to lie on the pavement for 4 hours. Because that could have been my nephew, because that could have been me, because I jaywalk. See, sometimes I'm too high or too drunk or too mad or just don't give a fuck to walk on the sidewalk. Hashtag RIP Eric Garner. These tears won't stop flowing because I can't breathe isn't a hashtag for me. Because sometimes without a police arm wrapped tight around my larynx, I, asthmatic, cannot breathe. Hashtag RIP Sandra Bland. See, these tears won't stop flowing because I've been a single woman alone on the highway, stopped by a police looking for trouble. because there was one time when the rainbow wasn't enough, because I know I'm just a colored girl in a world that doesn't love me, because I know the politics of respectability won't save me. I even know what it's like to want to die, but hashtag if I die in police custody for whatever reason, you have my permission to get turned up. Hashtag RIP Sandra Bland. See, these tears won't stop flowing because I almost hit a police car once. The morning after a night at the club, a bright Sunday morning, I was speeding through downtown Atlanta. The sun caught my eyes as I passed over a hill and, not to my knowledge, through a red light. The police car sped by. We barely missed each other. I knew I was going to jail. Scared, I pulled up to the next light, stopped the car, and got out. Hands shaking, praying. I knelt down to the pavement and raised my hands in the air because I slept in my bed that night. Hashtag RIP Dylan Taylor. See, these tears won't stop flowing because I know the incredulousness of an extended stop, because I know the bewilderment of arrest, because I know the camera flash of a mugshot, because I know what it's like to lay against the gray cold floor of a jail cell. Because OJ for me doesn't mean orange juice or old John Dare down at the corner or OJ Simpson or even, oh, Jesus, help me now. Deliver me from these metal bars, from this rubber, from food, from this cellmate using ketchup, from eyeliner and blush and fucking lipstick, from the other jailmate down the hall howling at the moon through the night, from this randomly flickering overhead light, from this OJ, this orange jumpsuit grabbing at my crotch, from this, oh Jesus, I cried at the sight of blue skies. At least hashtag, I'm not another hashtag. Hashtag RIP Tarika Wilson. These tears won't stop flowing because a text in the middle of the night isn't always a booty call. Like the ones I sent to my 3 friends in March 2007. I'm in Martinsville, in jail. Come get me, please. Because Martinsville is 99.5% white and the sitting capital of Indiana's Ku Klux Klan. So it shouldn't surprise you that I answer no when he asks me, do you know anyone who lives here in Martinsville? Well, I know someone 20 minutes away. Ma'am, that's not going to work. Would you like a ride to the hotel? And I am allergic to police lights and police cars and police suits, and I'm unable to pretend, shook my head and said, no, I can walk. Because only then, at my show of resistance and independence, did they arrest me, because that one exchange rolls through my mind every time I see the lights flash through around me, or the state patrol perch on the side of the highway, or a Steak and Shake, or a bronze 2003 Lexus ES sedan. Because I wondered that night, if I had a white friend who lived in town or white skin, would I have ever needed to wonder what would happen to my Black body if I were able or willing to say yes? Because after all the encounters I've had with the police, most of them my own fault, I'm not another hashtag. Hashtag say their names, Amadou Diallo. Say their names, J. H. Crawford. Say their names, Rakia Boyd. Say their names, Tamir Rice. Say their names, Ayanna Stanley Jones. Say their names, Antonio Zambrona Montes. Say their name, Tony Robinson. Say your name. Say their name, Angel Chimangoa. Say their name, Pearlie Golden. Say their name, Katherine Johnston. Say their name, Tony McDade, Breonna Taylor, Corinne Gaines, Elijah McClain, George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks. Say their name. We don't need another hashtag.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah. That was heavy, but there's a feeling inside of me I have a find a word for. Moving. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I just want to end. I know I have about a minute. So y'all mentioned that I study quantitatively police violence, and that's such a hard thing to think about. There are numbers, there are statistics, and one statistic that people don't really talk about are the people who are left behind, the people who see this stuff that's going on. And The most recent paper that's coming out in a journal, Ethic and Racial Studies, shows that women have a 30 to 54% increase in the risk of cardiovascular disease. This is diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, when they live in neighborhoods where police kill, where there are higher levels of legal intervention deaths. And I wish that that was it. We have 10 to 12%, 14% increase in morbidity, chronic conditions if you just live in a neighborhood where there's a pat down. 10% increase where there's use of force, and psychological distress, men more so likely than women. If you live in a Black neighborhood and police are more likely to use force, you're more likely to have asthma, obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure. And if that was not it, in predominantly white neighborhoods where Black and brown people are targeted for use in force, sickness prevails there too. So we're all losing. There's no winners in here. We think, oh, it's over there, it's someone else's problem. No, it's all of our problems. And I think it's time for us to really take seriously the impact of state-sanctioned violence, both lethal and non-lethal, on our bodies, and the way in which those things not just affects us when we look at a video, but it literally breaks down our bodies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So important.
Oh, Jacqueline, you know, I work with college students, and I'm always talking to them about looking behind the numbers, looking behind stereotypes. People of color get blamed for our health disparities all the time, but you know, we just heard those statistics, and knowing that the state is adding to those health disparities is just so frustrating, but something that we need to lift up.
Yeah. And the state is adding to those health disparities even more aggressively right now in a time of COVID, right? The federal government's and many state governments' decisions to basically let the disease run rampant is mass murder of Black and brown people, right?
Yes. Oh, okay.
It's a hard transition to make, right?
It is a hard transition to make, but like I said, when I work with my students, I tell them we have to complicate things, and this is a complicated world. It's a complicated moment. But I also tell them that we need to find joy in everything. When I'm organizing, we talk about joyous rebellion all the time. So we hold dance parties, we do comedy things, and that's what we're getting next.
Yes.
We're going to have some laughter.
Which is good for our health.
It is, yes. So comedian Priya Prasad, witty, intelligent, and rich with the cultural experience of an urban